Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Drama the Prophet, aka Mr. Cut the Check. Appreciate y'all vibing with your boy. Starting next month, where we at? December. In December, we're gonna be doing these live streams. We are gonna start them over here, but I am gonna be doing it on Facebook, and we're gonna be uploading some of it here, right? But yeah, that's what we're gonna do. But we are gonna start doing live streams on here, maybe like once or twice a month on YouTube. We're just trying to gain more subscribers, more activity on the channel and stuff like that, and then we can start getting into live streaming, you know what I'm saying? Because the plan is to do this full time, you know what I'm saying? So we all gonna get this going, we're gonna do it full time. But that's enough talking. Let's get into this video after this intro. Let's go. Go by Drama the Prophet, aka Mr. Cut the Check. What I need y'all to do is hit that subscribe button. All right. Let's get into this video.
Thomas. In what a judge later described as the worst domestic abuse he had ever seen, a Welsh woman named Charlotte Rooks was put through unimaginable horror by her ex-boyfriend, Craig Thomas. Back in 2013, Thomas was sentenced to 10 years in prison for beating Rooks with hammers, stabbing her, forcing her to sleep naked and standing up, making her eat photographs and jewelry of her.
Damn, bro. What?
Her to sleep naked and standing up, making her eat photographs and
making her eat photographs. Yo, this is already like on some other
jewelry of her deceased loved ones and inflicting other torture on her. According to a police
wow.
law enforcement visited the former couple's flat repeatedly while Rooks was trapped. South Wales officers allegedly failed to grasp the severity of the situation, and the agent...
Yo, look at the difference between the picture here. I don't know if I can see my thing. This picture and this picture right here. That's her. He beat up so bad that she don't even look the same. That's crazy, yo.
Agency later
Where's her
issued a
family?
formal apology to the young woman, but it didn't exactly heal the physical and emotional scars that
Of
Rooks
course,
is still
right.
healing from to this day. Thomas was released in 2019 after serving half his sentence, but was quickly sent back to prison for violating his parole. He was freed again in 2023 after serving his full sentence, and he's banned from setting foot in the city of Cardiff, where Rooks currently lives. Prior to being released a second time, he sought to suppress the news by taking certain legal measures, but the court rejected his request for a gag order. Rooks remains fearful that Thomas will disobey the rules that are being put forth to protect her. She told the Daily Mail that she feels she is in danger given her ex's history of breaching the terms of his release. Even more troubling, she was not told where Thomas was living when she was informed of his release. For now, she's hoping to continue running a non-profit that takes care of pets for survivors fleeing abusive.
Why would you?
But it's understandably.
Why would you even want to know where he live at? You know what I'm saying? Because at this point, it's like, yo, I don't even want to know what this man is doing. Nothing at all. You know what I'm saying? Yo, he beat her bad. Yo, that's crazy. Eating photographs, items of her dead relatives, eating them. Wow, he was trying to offer. He was definitely trying to offer.
Time when she's sleeping with one eye open, and constantly looking over her shoulder. Number 7.
That ain't no way to live.
In September 2020, a 43-year-old Australian woman named Rebecca Payne fatally poisoned her husband, 68-year-old Noel Payne, with cookies that were laced with a heavy dose of sleeping medication.
Damn.
She then duct-taped Noel's body in a blanket and stuffed him into a freezer, most likely
while
he was still alive.
What?
In a blanket and stuffed him into a freezer, most likely while he was still alive.
Yo, imagine getting put in a freezer, bro. Wow. Yo, these people they on some.
Rebecca then went on a spending spree with her deceased husband's credit card. When people noticed that Noel was missing, Rebecca claimed that he had abandoned the home, but her story failed to hold up, and his body was discovered shortly thereafter.
Want to level up your landing pages? Meet Hotjar. You can see where people click and how.
What Rebecca did was unacceptable under the standards of any civilized society. But there are two sides to every story, and her attorney argued in court that she was the victim of horrific abuse at the hands of Noel.
Yeah, but it is two sides to every story. But at this point right here, you can't sit there and say, okay, well, he did this to me, so let me put him in the freezer. That don't sound like something we should be doing. That don't sound like something we should be doing. It sounds like you should have been like, you know, let me get away from this dude because this is not okay. You feel me?
According to Rebecca's lawyer, the couple split up in 2012 and reconciled the following year. But Noel refused to break up with a woman he had started seeing during the breakup. In fact, the other woman continued to live with the pains right up until the night of Noel's death. Rebecca was convicted of murder, despite her claims that Noel abused her. She was sentenced to 16 years in prison with the requirement that she serve at least 10 years behind bars before becoming eligible for parole. Number 6. Aaron Uchitel. A young mother from Atlanta, Georgia named Prosper Ortega endured days of unimaginable hell in 2016 when she was held captive and tortured at the hands of her husband, Aaron Uchitel. The 23-year-old had given birth just 2 weeks earlier when Uchitel struck her in the face repeatedly, hitting her so hard that he broke the orbital bone around one of her eyes. Uchitel also seriously injured his wife's legs. Prosper's mother, Fawn, discovered the horrific situation when she became worried after not hearing from her daughter and went to check on the young woman. Fawn later told the press that she had recently begun suspecting Uchitel of isolating her daughter. When Uchitel refused to let her into the house, she fought her way in. The moment she saw Prosper's face, Fawn called the police.
Is that her hair, bro? Like, yo, what the? Bruh. Yo, it is not worth it. It is not worth it. Ladies, you automatically will see signs of abuse. You will see that. You already will see that. Ain't no way she didn't know that he was going to be this type. I mean, not unless he snapped. I mean, I don't know. But I think sometimes when people in love, they just kind of like, you know, ignore the fact that the person is like abusive for real. You know what I mean? This is crazy.
Prosper's injuries were so severe that she couldn't open her eyes. She was
Wow.
rushed to a nearby hospital where she underwent surgery and was reunited with her baby. Uchitel admitted to hitting Ortega a couple of times, according to police, but the evidence spoke for itself, and he was arrested and held without bond. Meanwhile, Prosper began her lengthy road to recovery, which included multiple operations over the following 2 years. Uchitel ultimately pleaded guilty to 4 counts of aggravated battery, 2 counts of aggravated assault, 1 count of false imprisonment, and 1 count of influencing a witness. He's in prison and will reportedly remain behind bars for many years. Number 5. Craig Lester Thrift. 23-year-old Terry Eugene Rouse disappeared after attending a party in Waycross, Georgia in 1991. His car was later found abandoned in a swamp with the engine running, the radio on and the windows rolled down. Some of his personal belongings were left inside the vehicle. At first, police assumed that Terry had skipped town due to his mounting drug and debt problems, but they began to rethink their theory after learning that Terry had had an affair with Rhonda Thrift, the wife of his first cousin and best friend, Craig Lester Thrift.
Wait a minute,
Rhonda
what
and
you
Craig
say?
divorced after Terry had an affair with Rhonda Thrift, the wife of his first cousin and best friend.
The wife of his first cousin? Bruh.
Craig Lester Thrift. Rhonda and Craig divorced after Terry's disappearance. The case remained a mystery for the next 2 decades. At some point, it became clear that Terry was probably never going to return home. He was presumed dead, and the case was closed due to a lack of evidence. Investigators had lingering suspicions of foul play, and the case was eventually reopened. In 2012, they narrowed their sights on Thrift, who not only gave Terry a ride to work on the day he went missing, but also refused to take a lie detector test years earlier. And while Terry's remains were never recovered, authorities decided they had enough evidence to finally move forward with a murder charge against Craig. At the time of his arrest, Craig was married to his second wife, Robin Barry. Robin later told the ID channel series Evil Lives Here that her marriage to Craig began peacefully enough, but became increasingly abusive over time. She claimed that Craig repeatedly mentioned killing Terry and dumping his body in the swamp. And while Robin initially brushed off Craig's claims, she eventually began to realize that her husband was 100% serious. But for a while, she was afraid to speak up because Craig allegedly...
So she said something, and they found him in the swamp. Is that what you telling me? Is that what you telling me right now? That he said this, she was just like, yeah, he's crazy, but I don't think he'd do it. And she finally said something, and he was there.
threatened to kill her if she said anything.
You often find yourself sidetracked
Yo, they
by
going
work that is
in
a
with
distraction from what your business
the
is
ads
about.
over here on this side.
When it came down to it, however, she was willing to testify against Craig, who was convicted in 2014 of killing Terry and sentenced to 7 years to life in prison. According to records, he remains behind bars for the time being. Number 4, Lara Page Conley.
So they never found the body? They never found the body. That's crazy.
Family from Independence, Kentucky learned the hard way that not all domestic violence situations occur between intimate partners. Growing up, Lara Page Conley always seemed to have an unusually high need for attention and a disrespect for the rules. And she never outgrew these traits, according to her older sister, Ginger Coates, who told the ID channel series Evil Lives Here that Page only became more volatile and demanding with age. In Ginger's words, something was just rotten inside. Instead of pursuing a career and moving out on her own, Paige lived with her mother, Carlene, well into her adulthood. She was verbally abusive toward Carlene, who told Ginger that she felt obligated to take care of Paige, and the abuse allegedly turned physical at some point. Tensions reached a boiling point in 2015 when Paige became enraged over her mother's choice of food to cook for a birthday dinner. What began as a verbal argument escalated to violence, and at some point Paige grabbed a knife from a butcher block and began stabbing Carlene.
Yo, bro.
Into her mother dozens of times.
You ain't cooking the right food. I don't like this. And she went in, bro. Like, what?
Until Carlene went limp and died.
Wow.
Paige told the police a number of different stories, all of which made little to no sense considering the circumstances at hand. She even tried to accuse Carlene of attacking her first, even though Paige's mother had no history of being violent toward her children. Needless to say, a jury found Paige guilty of murder. She was sentenced to 27 years in prison and will be 66 years old when she is freed. Ginger made her feelings clear during Paige's sentencing hearing when she described her sister as ugly and sick to the marrow of her bones. Number 3, David Schaefer.
That's
January
nuts,
2018,
man.
First responders in Salem, Ohio, were called to the home of a retired law enforcement officer named Delbert Schaefer by his live-in son, David, who claimed that he had found his father unresponsive. The senior citizen's death initially appeared to be natural, but a medical examiner concluded that he had been bludgeoned to death. Delbert was a man of the law, but David was a different story. In fact, at the time, David was on parole for burglary and theft-related charges. He had a violent past, so police were quick to suspect him of being the killer. Based on the evidence, investigators theorized that David attacked Delbert and left him to die instead of calling for help. David even allegedly tried to clean the crime scene before dialing 911. When questioned about why he didn't immediately call for help, David allegedly told police that he initially called a friend who was a nurse. He claimed that the friend came over and checked on Delbert with a stethoscope, yet he couldn't remember the friend's name.
Bruh. What are you talking about right now? What are you talking about right now? He called a friend over to use, and you don't remember the friend name, bro? Somebody slap him. Slap this man. What are you talking about, bro? That's how you know you lying, when you don't know nothing. You don't even know what you talking about. That's crazy, bro. What are you saying? I didn't call the cops because I called my friend because he's a nurse. And what's your friend number? Friend name? I don't remember. You going to jail. Just because you said that.
David had recently stolen his father's entire gun collection, which only added to their growing suspicions. David claimed that he had given the guns away, but most of them were found hidden in a secret room that was blocked off by a table and a stack of books. Authorities charged Davis with murder, tampering with evidence, and a weapon-related count. During an interview with the ID channel series Evil Lives Here, David's stepmother, Deborah Williamson, said that her stepson's behavioral problems dated back to childhood. She described David as manipulative and defiant and claimed that he had threatened her in the past. David ultimately pleaded guilty to a reduced first-degree manslaughter charge in exchange for a 14-year prison sentence. During his sentencing hearing, he said that he loved his father, that he wasn't a violent person, and that he misses Delbert every day. He claimed that Delbert's death was a tragic accident. Prosecutors saw it differently, describing him as a violent ex-con who ungratefully beat his father to death after being taken in when he had nowhere else to go. Number 2, Jesse Winnock. One night in 2007, 22-year-old Amy Chesler became concerned because she couldn't reach her mother, had a